my story is about being an enabler and trying to be part of a new ecosystem, knowing that there were very large opportunities. These are all the markets we hit today. Company is 7 years old. I raised close to $400 million. We have 2 factories. One is just being built, will be up and running this summer. We have customers in the portable power space, transportation, and grid energy storage. We have 500 employees. We're adding another 800 employees over the next 18 months. And we have global operations with operating companies in Beijing, Chongqing, Liang outside Shanghai, in Shenzhen, in Taipei, in Hsinchu, in Europe, and in the United States. But that's all good. Here is what I want to share with you. So in 2005, I knew there were safety problems in the market. I knew there were batteries that were absolutely deployed. We had entered the mobility revolution, but batteries failed. I also knew that we had climate change going on, and I wanted to be part of the solution, not protest global warming. And while I was a very privileged position, I was a managing director and partner at Arthur Little, I felt that nobody took this opportunity. And I knew then that it was a multi-billion-dollar market coming on board that was basically untapped. I'm proud to tell you today that the forecast for this specific market segment is $250 billion by 2020. I started the company in my house. I live in New England. We have a big carriage house. I put Tyvek on the inside of that carriage house. I pulled my personal electrical engineer, electrician who installs electricity in my house, and said, hey, Kevin, I need 200 amps in my garage. And he said, sure. Developed prototypes very, very quickly. I went to China with this crazy idea of making a battery that lasts longer, high energy density and fast charge, that would be green and safe. And donated my time as a general manager to a factory in Westlake, again, west of Shanghai, in Hangzhou, where we were able to pull prototypes. First battery we made worked. Second prototype we made did not explode. And the third prototype is indeed what's in mass production today. We collected so much data, and we compared it wildly to what was available in the market. That's simple market intelligence. You buy a few laptops and you test their batteries, and this was the reality at the time. You could buy a high-end battery as marketed, but really, it only was high-end for less than 2 months. There were explosions. They were known. I started the company in 2005. 2006, ladies and gentlemen, Sony and Dell had the biggest recall in US history by recalling as many batteries, costing the Sony company as much as they had made in profits of their battery line since 1991. And yet, almost no investors knew about this. Here's my carriage house. Converted to garage, was great. I was absolutely and by far the popular mom in the neighborhood. I had a 1-year-old son. I got all the girls and boys to my yard the day the big trailer truck came in with all the equipment. That's a good day. I assigned my co-pilots very quickly. Anna Maria here is 5. Matthias is barely 1. And I made them part of the journey. In fact, it was kind of difficult. I was a working executive at the time, and Anna Maria was not really used to me being home, so I closed my door, and she understood the rules. You cannot come in when the door is closed. And then I would go to her, and here's a sweet story for you. So I go into her room, feeling I'm at least at home. I should be with my kids a little bit, so I go in, and she's sitting at her desk very properly. And she goes, hey, Mom, do you want to play? And I said, yeah, I would love to play. What are we playing? And I get my first eye roll. I've started a company? Put together prototypes, ran data on these things like crazy, totally committed to making a real battery that worked, and connected with my circle of friends, trying to go into testing and piloting. Decided very early on that this is, if it worked, it was going to be a big idea. We ran production trials and were able to demonstrate high yields very, very quickly. And then decided to basically file an IP portfolio, which contained chemistry, mechanical engineering, and electronics, all 3 geared to embracing all markets: portable, medical, transportation, and grid energy storage, and succeeded in that. I am a firm believer that all businesses are people businesses, and people businesses include your customers and your suppliers. And I'm a team player. It was very easy for me to call people up and say, hey, I have this problem. Can I help you with something? Can you help me? I have this issue. And we created actually an ecosystem around making a battery and then enabling other products. Our first customer, as you'll see, was HP. This is our starting team. We outgrew my carriage house and took some commercial space. We had an opportunity to then start shipping samples. HP was hooked on the idea of having a battery that actually worked and launched a new product category called long life batteries. But you had to ship them, so you have to go through all the approvals. We went to HP. They say, yes, we will do it, but you have to demonstrate a working factory. And while we got the kind of purchase order already the first year of existence, we really shipped our first product to HP 3.5 years afterwards. We had to mature the factory. We had to basically mature our supply chain and pass their audits. HP has quality audits every month, which was really hard but wonderful as the company grew up. We made a company that basically was very grounded in the idea of truth. We were a data-driven, technology-based company that wanted to make a difference. We secured a lot of money to make that work.